Watch it. There we go. And whenever you're ready, Karen, just go ahead. We're recording. We're live.
Joe, is Matt joining us today, or are you gonna hold it down today?
I'm gonna get us going. I'm not sure, about Matt's availability. We've a lot of us have been remote and stuff, but yeah, I can get us going if you guys are ready.
Yes, we're ready. So Joseph and Matt and Nick, they are from the Shirami firm, right there on North Avenue, 236A North. Their offices are very accommodating to us. I've been with them in my previous brokerage, so I've known them before KW, but always provide great services. And Joseph is going to bring us into what they do over at the Shirami Law Firm.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about our background. My name is Joe Hajar with the Shirami Law Firm. Matt Feinblum and I, we do handle the majority of our residential real estate transactions here at Shirami Law. Matt and I have been here with our partner, Nick Shirami, for the last 8 years. Nick opened up the firm in 2010 in downtown Jersey City. We're on Newark Ave. Just to tell you a little bit more about us as well. Ever since day one, we've been very hands-on with our clients. They're not interacting with our paralegals. They're always dealing with us every step of the way. Just a little bit more as well about Nick Shirami. Some of you may have worked with Nick over the years. He was the founder of our firm, but he's transitioned to handling mostly commercial transactions and land use and zoning matters these days. And he's got a very busy zoning calendar. And we have another associate under Nick as well in the zoning group. And that's why over the last few years, Matt and I have handled the residential volume for the firm. A little bit more as well about our firm. We're on the younger side. We really updated our technology heavily over the past few years. No more physical files. Everything's totally digital, and anyone in our firm can access everything remotely wherever we are, and we could all get into each other's files. That's been especially important during COVID. We can all be anywhere, remote, all fully connected. Our cell phones have the Vonage app, so we mirror our work line. We can be working at any time, any place. We have everything stored in the cloud. So if a client needs their closing statement like a year or two later, we can get at that quickly, and there's no need to pull a file. Outside of closings, we do landlord-tenant matters as well. We have another partner out in Lodi, so that's in Bergen County, but he does tax appeals. Sorry, he does landlord-tenant matters all over the place. Hudson County, he does a ton of stuff here too. COVID has significantly impacted that landlord-tenant work. It's virtually impossible to get in front of a judge on that kind of stuff, but for you guys, it'd be good to know if you ever have a landlord-tenant issue, you could bring it to our firm and we'll have our guy Dan do the landlord-tenant work. I do property tax appeals. It's a seasonal thing, but I do that. And then all of us, we do condo conversions as well, which plays in with real estate generally, obviously. There's a lot of developers in the area. They might take a 3 or 4 family home, make it a condo, and we do that whole conversion from start to finish and do the closings on the back end, of course, too. So just wanted to let that be known, but that's pretty much it.
Questions, guys?
Hi, it's Jen. I've used you guys, Joe and Nick, for closing a few years ago, so thank you for that.
Hey.
Hey. So you brought in Dan. Would I reach out to you if I had a landlord-tenant issue, or Dan directly, or reach out to you?
Yeah, we get him all the time, and we loop Dan in right away and give you his direct numbers and stuff. But our phone lines are all connected. So actually what we would do is if you called, we would try to get Dan on the phone by just transferring you over to him. But if it's an email, we'll kind of just get the quick transition in motion and have Dan run with it.
Okay, awesome. I called Nick recently about it and chatted with him. I didn't know he had moved over to commercial, so now I got that.
Well, you know what? Yeah, so Nick still does a few residentials here and there.
Okay.
So he's not totally out of it.
Okay.
And maybe he's probably holding on to too many residentials, more than he would like. But the goal has been to keep him free to do the commercial deals, and the zoning calendar is kind of crazy right now, probably because of COVID. He appears every time, but they have such a backlog, and he's just so busy on that front. So we're trying to keep him more available for those, and Matt and I'll do the more residentials, but Nick still has some here and there.
Good
So
to
when
know.
you say zoning, Joe, do you mean if we have clients that may have a land, he'll help them put everything, the proposal together before the city to see what he can build on that land?
Yep. And it's important because you guys might have a buyer that needs to do some diligence on a multifamily home. So maybe they're buying a 2-family and they want to know if they can do a 3, like either a gut reno with changing it to a 3, or just like knock down, rebuild, new construction, whatever, right? So Nick and our other guy, Steven, they'll just run with them right from the get-go, get the zoning map out, figure out what are the variances that you would need to apply for, what is your likelihood of even being able to make this all work? Just give them the sort of straight answer from the beginning. And obviously it's not a done deal till you get the zoning approval, but this is like really what they do a lot, all day, every day. So they're constantly working with those people. So for you guys, be good to know in case you have people that are trying to do diligence, on what they can build. And sometimes you go in front of the planning board, sometimes you go in front of the zoning board. They're almost the same. It's just, again, all comes down to what you can build and what kind of variances you need to get.
With COVID, I have a few of the agents asking, their sellers have done the renovation without permits. How do we proceed with that? Because due to COVID, whether they could get the permit or didn't get the permit, but needed to start the job, but now the job is complete. What do we do with that?
Well, I have some thoughts on that. I have had transactions before where there may not have been permits filed, and the seller's not usually being that open about that. It's just like we kind of ask for permit info. There's none. We do a records request with the town. Really nothing comes back. Or maybe have our feelers up that no permits were submitted. The seller can't really, and the buyer, you can't really hide behind COVID for that. I mean, certainly COVID has made it harder to work with the building department, but they still are processing COs and they are doing permits. It just might be slower. I think what you would want to do is have a conversation with the buyer and definitely loop the attorney in too. And we would talk with them about the likelihood of there being any sort of issue here. Jersey City does not have CO requirement on resale transactions. So no one's going to come out and inspect the property. Some other towns, like out in the suburbs, you see that CO requirement, and that may pick up some more code issues. So, the city may never find out that the seller had done something without a permit, but the buyer should at least be aware of the possibility of maybe some issues down the road, especially if they were going to do some more renovations. If they were going to do renovations with permits, the building department's then going to come in at that point, and maybe they would bring up stuff that the seller did.
Should we ask for escrow, or will the attorneys ask for escrow for so many years?
That would be, escrows are a struggle sometimes because like the seller might get anxious about, how much time is my money being held? It would probably be something, if it's found out right up front, it would almost be something the buyer has to get comfortable with. You're either in or you're out kind of thing. It's hard to get the seller to agree to a ton, and you can't kind of undo it. I mean, you might be able to negotiate with the seller of like, well, a lot of it comes down to, did they use licensed contractors or not? If they were licensed, the contractor could certify whether or not permits were needed. So.
All right. So I shouldn't discourage the agents when they want to take the listing. Just, we have to disclose.
That right. The more information and the sooner, more info, the better. The sooner, the better. That way the buyer can just make that informed decision to say, you know what, there may not be permits everywhere, but like, I'm just going to live here, and I'm not going to really be dealing with the building department, and the building department's never just going to randomly come in. I guess though, if it is a multifamily, it's more sensitive because the tenants can always bring a housing complaint, and then that housing complaint can bring in someone from the building department to like look at stuff. So if you have like a sensitive, maybe like a new landlord, they've just got to be careful. But anyone who's going to be an investor like that should already be doing their diligence. But it's more about just communicating the info if you hear of anything.
Anybody else have any questions for Joe? We got an attorney on the line. Everybody always asks. Now's the time to ask. Well, if nobody else have any questions, we're gonna let Joe go because I'm pretty sure he's busy in his day.
All good.
But thank you for showing up, and
No problem.
to take this knowledge. I put your information in the chat so they can copy it. The video will be replayed on the YouTube, so you may not get a response today, but maybe they'll reach out later on.
Sounds good. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
All right.
Joe.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye.
Thanks.
All right, so today we are going to go into the listing, CMA, and just navigating through the MLS.
Karen, while you're clicking to get to the page, what do you think about coming soon?
Well, it's interesting because our MLS really don't have a coming soon like some of the other MLS systems.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
Hudson don't have a coming soon.
Oh, okay.
So if we put it on there, they want us to be able to show within 5 days. So if you put it on today, but we can't get in there until next week, you have to put a date that you can start getting into there. Otherwise, they want you to take it off as TOM if it's going to be more than 5 days before you can
Okay.
get it. So that's how you can get around that. So you put it in today and you say showings will start next Tuesday with the open house 1 and 3.
Okay.
This way they don't come back and say, oh, they're not letting me get in. It's not that we're not letting you get in. You can't get in until a certain date, but you can book to get in on that date. That's
Okay.
how you get around it.
In Monmouth Ocean, they have coming soon, and it has to be within 30 days. So, okay.
I think Garden State also have coming soon on Garden State.
Okay.
So each MLS have different rules. So you just got to read them. And then when you're doing that coming soon, nobody can show. I'm signing paperwork, you're signing paperwork, the owner is signing paperwork, that there will be no showings at all, not a sneak, not a peek. Otherwise, we all can get fined.
Okay.
So the MLS, I just wanted to make sure that you get comfortable with using your MLS, going on it, seeing if there's any questions that I can answer with it. When you go to your market, you have your information. So you have listings and transactions, your information is going to be on this right side. The market is everybody and that belongs to MLS. You should check the hot list every day. We can't physically go out to a lot of these places, but you can check the hot sheet, see what's going on, see what's active, see what the rentals are looking like, see what has expired, see what is a rental. Ooh, we got a lot of rentals. The rental market is crazy. You'll see things that have gone under contract. Anything that's expired, you can go after. So that's money in the bank going over the expires. And if it's in your area, in your market, comfort zone, you can definitely go after it. You'll see things that have been rented, and lastly, things that have been sold. So just getting familiar with the inventory so that when we do have different statistics that come up, you're already seeing what's going on in market because you're keeping track every day, or at least every other day, of what's going on. Go back to our home screen and you see it's over here where it says office. That's everything that's going on within your office. If you don't know the whole market, at least know what's going on in your office. Know what listings are out there, who's the listing agents. Can you jump in and do an open house? If it's a rental, that's a nice rental that you can possibly get some buyers from, because when they come into an open house, they don't know if they come into a rental or a sale when they just looking at the sign if you don't put that information there. So maybe they're going to come in and look for a rental. Maybe they'll come in and look for a buyer. Either which way, if you're doing it for a rental, you still building your database, because if you don't have anybody, it's better to have a renter and somebody to start with, because you can always convert a renter to a purchaser. So it look like this $7,000 rental, if it's not commercial, you may want to do it. Yeah, that's a commercial unit. Let's see. Something on Erie Street, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 2,400. That's good money. If you have to split it, it's half and half. So 1,200 to get out and possibly get a tenant on a Saturday or Sunday when you're not doing anything. And if not a tenant, maybe you get some buyer leads that you can start your command and a drip program with. Take advantage of what we have. You would just call Chris and say, Chris, I want to do, and the fee is paid by the landlord. That's a no-brainer. You just gotta find a tenant. The landlord paying a fee. So it's not like you convincing the tenant to pay your fee. The landlord is paying it. So just call Chris up or whoever the listing agent is and say, hey, can I do that open house? And you never know. Buyers are out looking at open houses. Renter will be out. You want that immediate income. But also sellers come out to interview. When they want to put their house on the market, they want to see who's out, who's doing what. Trust me, they come out and they see that if you're going to do it on a rental, how much more you're going to work so on their property for a sale. So don't just think, oh, it's a rental, wasting my time. Especially if the landlord's paying your fee, it's not a waste of your time. Especially if you're going to be able to grab some buyers in that market. And hopefully, ultimately, if a landlord see you hustling like this, they'll give you the opportunity. So take advantage of something like that by knowing our inventory, what's out there, and just ask the listing agent. Any of these, what's under contract, what's active. Let's see our active inventory. Yeah, we still got to put them out. 56 units out there that are active. Call one of the listing agents up. Ask them, can I do an open house? Every agent have different terms. So you have to see what agent terms is when you ask that agent if you can host their open house. Some may want a referral fee. Some may say, go ahead and do what you got to do. Some may want you to use their own signs, but you don't know and you don't get the experience unless you start and put yourself out there. I know we still in coronavirus, so we all still being extra cautious. But make sure you gear up. Make sure you put on your mask, double mask. Make sure you have your hand sanitizer. Gloves if the owner requires them. Booty covers. As long as you covered up and stay your 6 feet apart, this is our job. So we have to get out there and try to make the best that we can by doing some open houses. Let's go back to our home. This is new. Anything that come on the market is new. The expired price change. If you're looking for things and you see things dropped and it's in your area for your client, you see that as a change. Maybe they can afford it now where they couldn't afford it before. When you're doing your comparisons and you're looking to see what's sold, this is always going to give you that update of what's sold and what's under contract. And again, my office would be my inventory, Karen Sims. So yours would be your inventory. The market would be everybody on the MLS, and office would be our inventory, SKW, Jersey City, Bayonne together. Any questions on that part? Okay. Everybody know how to do a regular search. If they're looking for their client or property, you would just go to search, whether they're looking for 1 family, 2 family, vacant land, condo, residential, and then CI. CI is commercial industry. So if it's a commercial for rental, investment, industrial, investment, office, retail, business, it's all there. You want to look at different things at the same time, you would just hit multi-class. And when you hit multi-class, it gives you the option to pick everything that you want in that class, from the class. So it gives you the option to do 1 family, 2 family, condo, and everything. It might confuse you, but it will give you an option to bring everything in at one time. So you can do that. Generally, when I search, I'm just searching specifically for what that person wants. If it's a 2 to 4 family, price point, generally 500 for my clients. Type of property, they'll take anything from a 2 to a 4 family. Most of my clients do come from the Greenville section. So I would want to see what's active. There's only 8 things active on a whole market that's under 500,000. When you hit search, all of those 18 things will come up for Greenville area. And then you just go by and look to see if it's a total gut. 199, of course, that's going to be a gut. Broker remarks. Those are remarks that are for you, the agent, what you, the agent, need to do. In this case, the property is vacant, it's sold as is. They only want cash offers. So if you know your client have a mortgage, don't even bother. They are doing an open house on the 11th from 12 to 1 only, 1 hour to do a show, to do an open house. And the highest and best by Friday the 12th. So that means they're giving everybody only 1 day. Remember I said, if you're going to put it coming soon, this is the best way to do it, because this was listed 6 days ago. And 6 days ago, they say the open house will be on the 11th from 12 to 1. And the highest and best is going to be Friday at 5 p.m. So he's doing pretty much a one-shot deal. If you want it, you'll be there Thursday between 12 and 1. So you can set it up, Jen, how you want to set it up. If you want to put it on the MLS a little bit earlier, far on, and as long as you put a date that they can get in, you're good. Advertising remarks. Remember, with advertising remarks, you don't want to put things like walk or anything offensive, anything related to the name of a church. So you may be able to put near a church, but you can't put near St. Peter's Church. So if you're going to use the word church, don't label it what it's by. When we're looking at this bottom part down here, this is the most important part for us. How we getting paid? Buyer's agent, transaction broker. Both of these need to be the same. We're getting paid 2% minus 250. So when you write up your paperwork, you know that you're getting 2% of 199 minus a 250 fee, or whatever the price that your client wins that bid at. This, when you click on here, you get the information about the office, the broker of that office, the license number, and all the information about Casa Realty. When you click on Nancy, you're going to get Nancy information. She's a salesperson, her email address, phone numbers. Sometimes they put the cell phone on here, but most of the time not. So you have to see if their phone number is in the broker remarks. Nancy don't want to be identified, so she probably only wants emails. So she doesn't have her phone number. But guess what? Google, you can find anybody, any agent on Google. I've done it. When you need to get to them and their office is closed on a Sunday at 6 o'clock, just Google them. You'll find them. Anything on the MLS sheet that we're not familiar with, that everybody's okay with and understand? Okay.
So if we wanted to make a report of those 18 or put it in a spreadsheet or something, how do you just check the box on the far left?
All right, so you have a report over here. If you want to do which type of report, because there's different reports we can do. You want a report of all 18 at one time?
Yeah, or even pick 4 of them or something.
All right, so you would just pick that little white box on this side, or if you're inside it, if you're already on the MLS inside and it's not picked, then right underneath the picture is blank, you would click that. Then if you want to make a report, you can if you want to email it, you can make a report and email it. Any report that you want will come up. Customer with address, customer without address. When you have bad customers, sometimes you send it to them without address, because sometimes they may ride past the property if you give them address, and then they'll call the other agent. So if you have somebody that you don't think is going to be a little bit dedicated to you, send them the information without the address. Piss them off, but you know, it teach them to be a good person. If you want to do a CMA summary just to see what's going on with that, you can click those four if you wanted the comparison. And when you click those four, screen, something is blocking my screen. Okay.
That was a good tip.
Send an email to myself. And it will be in my email, but because I don't want to go to my email, I just go over here and hit reports, do a CMA and do a CMA summary from here, and then I can see it on my screen. Now I didn't narrow down just to the four. I didn't take them all out. So it gave me a CMA of everything. So the high from these 2 to 4 is $499. The low is $199 with an average of $433, a median $449, $500. That's with all the inventory. If I go back and I just select the properties that I want to see that we checked off, and I do the same thing, and I hit the CMA summary, then it's going to just give me the average of what I picked. Again, that 199 is in there. So the high 420, the low 199, average 350, the medium 392. So that's how you would do different reports. Anything on the right-hand side, you can do a report of. So that's pretty much basically the MLS. Now I would like to show you how you do a CMA within the MLS. Unless you have more information on or questions on how to research a property, let's start a CMA. Anybody need any other questions with just
Yes, can you please explain what's CMA?
Consumer market analysis? You're giving them an analysis of the market so that you can do a comparison of a particular property for your client, so you can help them address, help them price it based on the average sold, active, and the speed of things that's going under contract. So it's your
Thank you.
comparison for the owner.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so anybody have a property that they need help with right now instead of me just doing a random CMA that we can actually work and do some numbers with? I know Della, you gave me one
Yeah.
last time. What you have, Jen?
You can do 295 York Street.
Tell me a little bit about it. Is it a 1-family, 2-family condo?
It's the studio. It's a studio condo.
Renovated, not renovated?
Renovated, newly renovated floors by your cousin, your nephew,
Oh, okay.
and fresh paint. And I just need to put it on the market.
Still appliances?
It has it's white. It's white appliances. Yeah.
What type of appliances? What you
think they're
leaving?
Whirlpool.
Dishwasher?
Yeah, it has a dishwasher, refrigerator, stove. Yeah. And then in building washer dryer. It's on Van Voorst Park.
Other amenities in the building besides washing and dryer?
No.
No exercise room, no
It's
bike
a-
room, storage?
It does have storage, yes. Sorry. Bike room and storage, yes.
Any parking?
Sorry.
Any parking?
No parking.
Just going back
Yeah,
to
no
those
parking.
appliances, dishwasher, refrigerator, stove, what about a microwave?
Yes.
You know the square footage of the studio?
Well, it's very little, Karen. It's 320 square feet.
Right on the park, that's a great feature.
Yeah.
What's the distance to the path?
Maybe like 5 blocks to the Grove Street path.
That's something that I missed.
What'd you miss?
I think you had said something I missed after I said no parking.
No, like 5 blocks to the Grove Street path. Yeah.
So y'all see how I asked a series of questions to get an idea of what I need to compare. You need to know a little bit about the property, if it's renovated. What's the HOA over there? Is it high or low?
It's like 250.
Taxes?
I'll have to look them up. I want to say like
Right.
5 grand.
We're gonna look them up, don't worry. I just want to get the homeowner's idea about what's what. So when I'm
Yeah.
doing my research, I know where I need to be. What did you pay for the property?
270.
How much you owe on the property now?
Like one and a quarter maybe.
Definitely got equity. I asked that because if they pay too much and they owe too much, they may not have any equity. We might be cutting it right across the board. Perhaps they have a lot of equity if they didn't pay a lot on it. Or if they paid it off, maybe they have a plenty of equity in it. So we know that we're going to have our commission paid for. So once I get all those questions and I'm pretty much satisfied with everything, my first thing always is to start with the tax record. So we're going to go tax, New Jersey tax record, property type. We know the street. She gave it to us. It's in Hudson County, Jersey City. York Street, Y for York. The number was 295. What was the unit?
G. Uh-oh.
Oh, technically difficulties, really? Tax records?
Wow.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to see if I can find her old unit. Assuming that we know her tax records. I'm going to go find and see what may have been on the market from 295 for unit G.
Karen, if you go back and try it again, it may work because that was happening to me last night. But if I backed out of it and tried it again, it did work.
Okay, let me go back and do that. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Oh.
Sorry, I thought it would work. That's crazy.
Not liking us today. That's fine. So I want to look and see what that may have looked at from other times on MLS. No record. This one says it's 500 square feet, unit G. It was rented at one time. Let's see if anything else come up on it.
Wow, that's
This is just trying to get the history of it. Homeowners giving you stuff, but sometimes we can look on the MLS and actually get the history of what things may have looked like, what things may have sold for. This one was rented, same unit. No pictures of the interior. Well, see, at least it rents quick.
Yeah, look at that. That's from 2006. That's a long time ago.
We're just getting information about the property as much as we can that the MLS may have. I put it in order so I can go by the actual thing. So we looked at the two rentals there. Oh, see how the rents climbed up? So the rents kept going up and up over the years. So it proved to be a good investment. Getting no square footage on this one, but we got some interior pictures. So keep in mind that she did renovate it. So it won't look like the same, but we get an idea in our head. So when we searching the MLS, and this is a full view, you can see straight across the whole layout of it.
So Karen, if those pictures were taken by the realtor that I hired last time to get it rented, can I use those pictures?
That Realtor, KW Realtor?
No, he's Weichert.
No, we can't use it. You can only use the front picture of anything that's on the MLS, any interior pictures. If it's not with your brokerage, no, you can't use it.
Oh,
All right, let's just look at this one. This one looked like it had a little bit more space the way it was situated.
I know, I like this layout. This was my last tenant.
Yeah, their layout was cool. It looks wider, not so much cramped because it didn't have too much space in it.
Yeah,
So just give you an idea, if you do decide to stage it, that first picture versus the second picture, this is more appealing.
okay.
Okay, so now that we see, we got a little bit of idea, let's do the work. We're gonna do search. We're searching for condos. We think a condo may downtown that's 300 square feet, maybe 400. We can't really say because we don't have it on a tax record, and the other ones didn't really say. Let's say, and this is a wild guess because I'm not sure what the downtown area is, so I'm gonna put in 399. Jen, how much was you thinking your condo gonna be? Just off the back of your head.
270, 280.
We're going downtown, so that's Jersey City, and that's D for downtown. The status, we want to check and see what's active. Outside of rentals or off the market, what actually sold, because that's what the bank care about, and what's under contract currently. You see it's 2,903 things. We got to do a little more. We're going to narrow that down to see what sold in the last 6 months. So we only going back 6 months. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So August. That brings that down to 21 things under 399 that sold. Oh, wait a minute. We want August of 2020. So that's 43 things to today. Now, remember, she has a very small condo, so there's really no bedroom. So I'm not going to put a bedroom count. I'm going to put a minimum of 275 square feet and a maximum of, you said 320, I'm going to go 375. So in a range of 50 to 100 square feet, give or take, that's what I want to search under. There's only one thing that came up. Boo hoo hoo. There's only one thing. Let's see what that one thing is. 295 York Street, under contract, 299, 71 days on the market, first floor. What floor is yours on?
Ground.
Ooh, so this one have an advantage.
I know, it's beautiful too. If you look at those pictures, it's beautiful.
Let's look at that one.
I wonder what it's listed, what it's pending for.
All right, so they got a nice little setup there. They got the kitchen right in front of there. The bed is all the way over. The couch is right there in line with the kitchen. Doesn't look too cluttered. Park is right there. It's a brick building. The closet, kind of California-ish. It's all fixed up, nice
Yes.
and neat. Bathroom, nice, modern. Subway tiling. Pantry come out, nicely enough storage space, even though it's a small space. Made very nice use of the space, like a hotel, look like a hotel kitchen.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's not on the park, it faces the back street towards a school. So I'm not sure out that window how noisy that would be, but.
Overall, it's a nice, cute unit, and it's on the first floor where yours is grade level below 4.
Yeah.
So we just had that one comp to look on. As a listing agent, this is what I would tell you to do. Your owner and the listing agent, I would tell you to call Kristen at Silverman and say, Kristen, hi, my name is Jen. I'm the owner of G. I just wanted to give I'm also a licensed real estate agent. I just thinking about listing my unit. It's in the same building, 295 York Street. And if you can give me any insight as to if your price for your buyer is north or south of the 299.
Okay.
So if it's north, that means they went above the 299. If it's south, they got under the 299. And then
Okay.
that will help you price yours where you need to be.
Okay.
So seeing how this is compared to yours, since you know how your house looks, is there any comparison outside being on that first floor?
Okay.
Is this
Yeah, no.
this is better?
Hers is beautiful, yes. Mine's not that nice.
So therefore, depending on what she said she went north of 299, then maybe you can price it at 299. If she says south, then you have to go a little bit less.
Okay.
And that's just using that one comp. Now say that we didn't want to use that one comp and we just wanted a little more comparison. We'll go to our same comps. We're going to do the same search. But we're going to open it up a little bit. And now we're going to do a comparison to square footage to square footage. But I'm going to up it to about 500 square footage. And I'm going to do up to 1 bedrooms. And there's 5 things that came up that's under 500 square feet, under the 399 mark. So I'm going to hit search. There's one on Wayne Street, Brunswick, Montgomery, and 9th. The 9th Street, I think is too far over.
Yeah.
But the Brunswick and the Wayne, along with the York, I'm going to use those for comparisons. Check that. I like looking at things in order to see active, those sold and under contract. And then I'm going to do a CMA based on these. I want to look at them. Let's start off with Wayne. So this is Dixon Mills. The HOA is going to be a little bit higher. They do have more amenities. We only have storage, washer and dryer, and no parking. They have all the extra amenities. Kitchen is nice. The second floor, HOA is mad high. We don't know what our taxes is, but we know our HOA is way less. They were able to get 300,000 with those higher taxes, and they have 1-car parking. We don't know again what that's been on the market 34 days. We don't know what it's going for. Oh, he's Keller Williams. He might give you an idea. Keller Williams to Keller Williams. Don't be afraid to talk to the agents. They're either going to say, no, whatever, I can't tell you, or yes or no. They're going to give you some information.
Okay.
Especially coming from an owner as a realtor, they'll help you out a little bit more.
Okay.
247 Montgomery Street, 385. HOA to HOA is about the same. If we're in the 500 tax range, that's about the same.
Yeah.
Let's see if this have parking, no parking, so that's the same. Montgomery and Barrow, Grove and Barrow. So we're at, this is right, maybe 1, 2. This is 3 blocks from Grove Street, right?
Yes.
Let's look at details.
This is a really busy street with the buses going down it and stuff.
Yeah. Look like it also might be below grade.
Right.
Looks clean. But I think it would probably be a little bit on the darker end. B, GA. Anybody know what floor is GA? Ground. Let's see if there's any descriptions. in
Maybe
the
garden? I don't know.
garden. Okay, yeah.
Garden, yeah. Oh, good, Della. Yes, Della.
So this is probably about the same comparison as far as location of the property. It's just that it has one bedroom, so it makes it a little bit more desirable. But again, like you said, there's nothing as far as attraction with the noise and the buses. Mehad, he could be cool a little bit. He's an older guy, so coming from an owner and an agent, speak to him. Speak to him, see if his offer is a little bit north or south of the list price. They're not gonna tell you the price since it hasn't closed, but they'll tell you if it's north or south.
So in my remarks or in my advertising comments, do I say great investment, or like I had it rented 100% of the time since I've owned it? Do I say?
Well, you can't really say great, and you can say great investment, just don't say for investor, because now you discriminate against first-time home buyer or someone else. So don't ever put for investor. Just say great investment, but not who it's for. It's for anybody who want to do an investment.
Okay. Do I say great rental property or just great investment?
You can say great rental investment.
Okay.
All right, let's look at our next one, which is 219 Brunswick. It's 380. So this one actually was 375. It went over, was 453 square foot. It did have a 2 other. So we want to read the descriptions to see it had 3 different others. Let's read the description and see what that is. 1 bedroom. The HOA is a little bit higher than yours, but the taxes, if we're 5, it's a little bit less. But this is on the other side of Brunswick too, going close to the 9th. So I don't really say we would use this. It might be able to be used to your advantage because we're right there at the park. We're right there at the path where if you all the way over on Brunswick in the corner there, that's a distance to the path.
Yeah.
But you can just see multiple offers. Seller requested the highest and best Tuesday 6/23. So, but why is it still under contract? This is from last year.
Huh.
Oh no, it's sold. Okay, contract date was 7/2. It was listed 6/12. It took 20 days to get under contract with multiple offers in the corner. Let's see what was special about this one.
Wow.
So it probably has some outdoor space.
Probably the backyard.
Looked like it had maybe high ceilings.
Yeah, it does look like that. It's pretty.
Okay, I see how they superimpose the pictures with the furniture.
It's
Oh,
also not a studio. I think it's a 1 bedroom, right?
1 bedroom.
so that's virtual staged?
Yep.
Oh, I got to call those people and have my unit virtually staged.
All right, so let's read and see what are additional things. Just in time for summer, enjoy this lovely private terrace directly off the kitchen, leading down to your very own private backyard. Perfecto a summer, perfect for a summer barbecue and evening cocktails. Overlooking the park, simply charming, historical, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, with natural lighting throughout features an open concept floor plan, high ceilings, just finished hardwood floors, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, plenty of closet space and shared laundry in the basement. We have that. Added bonus of a very, very large private deeded storage room in the basement. There's storage in your basement. You said yes.
Yeah.
So we have storage. We have wash and dry room. We have renovated, but this is that extra is that backyard. That
Yeah.
backyard is nice. But see, now everybody tied in the house, I can see why they had multiple offers and why I did go above ask price.
It went
Um,
way above.
Huh?
Oh, no, just a bit above.
We wanted to just do it per square footage, we do the same thing, and we have to just calculate a little bit more. CMA summary, we're looking at a high of 380, a low of 380. That's only one thing that's sold. So we're gonna take 380 divided by that square footage of the one that sold, which it was 453 square foot, and we're gonna get a per square footage amount. So 380 divided by 453 gives us 838 per square foot. 838.85. So let's just round that off to 839 per square foot. And generally smaller units do go higher in square footage. So 839 square foot times, you said 320, Jen?
Yeah.
320. We're looking at, you probably will get somewhere around 268, 480. So your pricing of 279 should be right on point.
Okay.
So you would, if Jen wasn't the owner, you would give the owner. So Ms. Jen, based on the market conditions, based on per square footage, you give her the two scenarios so you can have two comparisons. In your building, we have the one unit that's selling at 299. I'll confirm with the listing agent that they probably got a little bit all over the 299. I don't have that exact amount because she can't tell me that until it actually closed. But based on her comp, we're looking at 299. And based on this scenario, when we're looking at per square footage and we averaging out per square footage, we're looking at $839 per square foot, which equal around 268, 480. So my recommendation is to list your house in the range of 268 to 299. Keeping in mind that if we get anything near the 268 price point, we need to take it and run with it, because that's what the average per square footage when a appraiser come out and they do their comps is gonna see that we're worth. So it'd be nice if we can get higher, but that all is going to depend on that one comp that did close in the building. But again, that one comp that did close in the building is on the first floor, not the ground unit, which is above level, not below level. It also has renovations that is a little bit better in quality than your unit. So remember, that's why that's getting 299. So even if they get south of 299, north of 299, we still might not get that from an appraisal standpoint because we're underground and our renovations is not that sleek. And you shut up.
Okay.
You gave them the figures. You gave them the amount. It's their decision how they want to price it. You give them time so that they can absorb everything that you just told them. You're giving them the black and white numbers. You gave them both scenarios. And then you say, so where do you want to list your property? What was you thinking? So that you can have their input so that you're not insulting their intelligence or they don't feel you insulting their intelligence, but you are insulting their intelligence pretty much when you knock them down to the reality of what they can get. Jen is an agent, so she's no more reality. Most homeowners aren't agents, so they don't know the reality. So when you give them the reality in black and white, you gotta let them get time to get over the shock that they thought they $500,000 unit is only $279,000. So get their feedback, see where they are, see what they wanted, what they were thinking, and then help them appreciate, well, based on here and seeing what the market is, we need to price your house anywhere between 268 and 299. Where do you want to price it?
Okay. Awesome.
Any questions on that, anybody?
Hey, Karen, the CMA icon on the top there, what does that do?
Up
Right
there?
next to listings, yeah.
It gives you the option to create a presentation. I've only created the presentation one time. This would be to Jen and BTCH. Continue. Create a new subject property. It's a condo. Then you do all the stuff that we just did to make sure that you can complete it. Fill in all the banks. Let's see. This is like actually doing a whole MLS, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of work to do.
I'll be doing it after the call.
Huh?
I'll be doing that after the call.
Yeah, do that one because that's a lot of work that you have to fill in before you can hit the next to see where it take you from there. But nah, I generally just use the CMA summary to do all my listings, to do all my comps out. I don't make it complicated. I keep it simple. But is all this fancy stuff on here for a purpose? Use it.
Thank you very much for going through that.
All right, so now that we did the MLS, we did the CMA, let's go on to doing some paperwork when we're representing the seller. I have my command open. And I'm going to assume that everybody on the call and speak up or forever hold your peace, understand how to put a contact in and how to start a transaction. Let me know now if you don't, and I'll go over that step. But if you do, I'm going to go to the thing.
I don't, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we'll start for you, no problem. So we're
Thank
going to
you.
add a contact by clicking this little icon up top. And we're going to hit add contact. And then you're going to fill in the name. Mickey Mouse it is today. We're going to fill in mm@gmail.com for their email. We're going to fill in a phone number. Oh, that's my number. That ain't going to come up. And then we're going to put them as a landlord. Not a landlord. We're working with a seller today. Click seller. Add them to my pipeline. And we're going to create. So now we created a seller contact that's going to be in your contacts. The next thing you want to go to the handshakes. Friendly handshakes is your opportunities. And here you want to create an opportunity. And when we create an opportunity, it's a listing. Remember, if you're doing something else, you got to switch it. If you're working with a landlord and it's a listing, it's not a listing. You'll be doing double work. You have to click landlord. Today we're working with the seller, so that's going to be a listing. You're working with the tenant, it'll be a tenant. If you're working with the buyer, it'll be a buyer. Today is going to be the listing because we're doing listing paperwork. Client, we said that was Mickey Mouse, or did we do Minnie Mouse? I'm already confused. Mickey Mouse, let's do Mickey Mouse. Everything about Mickey Mouse is going to come out. Close date. Generally, if we're working with cash, 30 days, 20 to 30 days. If we're working with a conventional client, someone who's putting anywhere from 3% to 50% down, conventionals usually, there's going to be a 30 to 45 day closing. If we're working with a VA or an FHA, we're looking at a 45 to 60 day closing. So let's do conventional today, 30 to 45 days. So your estimated closing date, because we don't know for sure, and that can always be changed in attorney review, we're going to put 45 days. So today is the 10th. We're looking at March 10th is 30. So I think we can get this closed by the end of March. Price point, we're going to look at $4.95. Commission rate, we're giving out 2.5%. How do we know that? We're going to go to our listing. We're going to do, I'm always doing my opportunities. We're going to do based off of 118 Seaview. 118 Seaview, 495, and she's paying out 2.5% minus 300. So there's where your commission rate come in, 2.5%. You're gonna get that off your MLS. The appointment is set, it's scheduled. If you already went on an appointment, then it will be active and showing or active and in the negotiations. In this case, we're in negotiations. So let's create our opportunity. So this is how it's going to look next. On here, you have two pencils, one over the general information, which if I need to change anything on the general side, I can click that. So say the general side has the contract date and the close date I missed. Let's go add the contract date, which will be today because that's when we're working on it. And we said the close date is going to be March, the end of March. Let's add the close date. Save that part, and that side is complete. Property, we know the property is 118 Seaview. So we know we work in the United States of America, 118 Seaview. And as you type in, you'll see it come up. Just remember, if you're working with a rental or a tenant or a condo, this in this case is a single family, two family, you have to put the apartment number because sometimes it's multiple apartments if it's a condo or a two family or a three family, depending on if it's a rental or not. Hit save, and that information pops up. Now, next step that we're going to go to, once we did the opportunity, we want to create some documents. So how do we create our documents? We have to start a transaction. Start a transaction, we're going to use DocuSign. Now keep in mind, there's two spots that we have to put details in. First spot is just a little bit of details. Here is where all the details going to go in. Once you hit your edit button, we can put in all the details for the seller. We can put in, and if it's two sellers, we want to put both seller one and seller two information in. And again, I don't have the tax record to show you. Let's see if it's working yet. They really would like you to see the tax record. Yeah. So on the tax record, you want the lot and block, very important. Property tax amount. And this, generally square footage is not found on single family houses, two family houses, but lately I've been seeing a lot of taxes updated with the square footage. Normally we just go by the land description, 28 by 50 by 100. The year it was built, 1926. We see the owner's information on it, and this is where you're going to get the owner information for when you go to fill in your details on the left-hand side. That'll give you the seller's information. If it's this case, it's an LLC, but generally if it's a, two owners, it'll have two owners. If it's just one, then it just have one seller information. The tax record is not going to have the cell phone, or home phone, or business line. You have to get that from your client directly. The listing agent, again, you get that information I showed y'all in the beginning. By clicking on the name, you get all the listing information for the agent. If it's two listing agents, then it'll be on the MLS. You get both of their information and put it in. Buyer one, if it's two buyers, then you have buyer one and buyer two. Buyer agent, that will be the one that's putting the transaction together and the one that's bringing the buyer to the table. You are the buyer agent. also called the sell agent, even though it's not the sell for the listing, because that person's called the listing agent. You're still the selling agent. It's confusing, but you still represent it as the buy agent, whether it's an SELL agent or SELLER agent or BEYER. You still the buy agent. Both cases refer to you, the buy agent. So if you're working with a partner, buy agent 1, buy agent 2, and that will complete the right side of this transaction. But then you have the left side that you also want to complete, which has the local currency, the MLS number, which you can get again from Paragon. The MLS number will change depending on which MLS system you're using. Generally, anything in Hudson County will start with a 20 if it was last year, 21 for 21. If it was in 1999, it'd be 19. So the first 2 letters generally indicate the year that was. If it was 18, it's 2018. If it's 17, 2017. So when you're seeing 17-00001, that was a listing that was done in 2017. If it's 18, 2018, if it's 19, 2019, if it's 20, 2020, and if you go down and see, this was done December 7th, 2021. So anything now from 21 will start off with 21, and then when we go into next year, 22. So, but each MLS, Garden State have their own, New Jersey have their own, Bright have their own, CJMLS have their own, and it can be confusing because New Jersey is similar to ours with the 2s. So that can get confusing a little bit. And CJ. All right. The address, you want to put the address in again. So what is the reason for me putting all the details in here? When I go to do my documents and pull in my documents, I don't want to sit and do each and every page, filling in the seller's name, seller's address, my name, my address. Once I take the time and do it here, it's going to carry over to any page that I bring into my room. So take the time, do it right here the first time, and you never have to touch this again unless you made a mistake and have to correct it. But yeah, it's kind of redundant because you create an opportunity with details. Then when you create the person, you got the name. When you create the opportunity, you put in the name, and now you get ready to create an envelope to send your documents for signature, and you still got to put the name again. But trust me, once you put it all on this one page, you don't have to do it ever again. Any questions on that? And you just fill in the information on this side. I'm going to go to a document so you can actually see where it's already done. Let's go to, nope, I don't want to go to that one, sorry. I want to go to this one. Click on my documents, go to my transaction, because once I create the transaction, now I'm just going to always go to the transaction. Once I go to the transaction, you see the same thing that was over there is over here. I hit the details. And now you're going to see where I filled in everything on the left side. Everything is on the right side. Seller information, the listing details. It's only one seller, so I don't have to worry about anything extra. There wasn't a high and bid confirmation. The listing agent over there, that was me. Any additional information, the property details. What did I say I needed from the tax record? I needed the amount, the lot size. In this case, they do have the square footage on there. I put the bedroom totals, the bathroom totals, the rooms, the garage parking. All that, if you don't have, you got to get from the, if the tax record doesn't state it, you'll get that information from the owner. In this case, the tax record state, let's Go to the tax record. That is a 2-story frame, detached 2-unit with heat, brick, and garage 3. That's as much as you're gonna get as the description. The tax record is not gonna give you how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. So you have to get that information by speaking to the seller or by viewing the property and taking those notes when you view the property.
Karen, with the description, you just, they have it in 2 letters. Is there some kind of legend where we can refer back to what they mean?
Yeah, I'll send it to John Carlos again, but I did send it out a few times directly to agents.
Okay.
I'll see if he can put it in our intranet. It's old, it's a little scary looking, but the information is still the same.
Thank you.
So once you complete all that information, like you see it's completed here, then you're ready to go to your documents. So I'm going to jump back to Mickey Mouse so I can pull in your documents, because you see this room is blank. So how do I get those documents in? I hit the add button and I go to DocuSign Forms. And then the office have put your forms in different groups. So in this case, I want groups, and I'm working with the listing, and I'm working the Hudson County listing. So I want the Hudson County listing package. Make sure you don't do the rental, because we're not working with landlords. If you're doing a sale, you're working with the seller, you're doing a listing package. If you're working with a tenant or a landlord for a rental, then it'd be the rental listing package. Don't confuse the two. If you're in Garden State, same difference. You got the listing paperwork, and then you got the rental listing paperwork. CJ MLS. New Jersey MLS should be on here as well. If you're working with New Jersey MLS, as opposed to, where's New Jersey? That's Monmouth. So theirs is the same for rental and sale. But New Jersey, you have the listing for regular listing, and then you have the New Jersey MLS property for rent. So just make sure you're pulling the right one based on which MLS you're working with. You're working with multiple MLS, make sure you pull it all. In this case, we want the listing packet. And the computer is going to automatically pull what is needed for compliance. So anything that is pulled and checked, that means you absolutely need it for compliance. Then anything else you can add. Why did I pick Garden State? I don't want Garden State. See what I made? I want Hudson County listing paperwork. The computer is going to automatically select the documents that I need so I can stay in compliance. If I need to add anything else, then I'll select that. So in this case, it's a condo. So I want to select condo because it's not a 1 family. So I don't want the 1 family. I don't want the 2 to 4 family. Don't need it. It's not vacant land. Sometimes the owner is going to price it too high. And I may say to the owner, Jen, I need you to, we're going to take it at the 305, but based on these numbers, you over the market in 30 days. If we don't sell, I need to make sure you change that to a more reasonable price. So we're going to sign a change of price form, but I'm not going to make any changes until 30 days out if this is not under contract. I always try to get it signed early on so that it puts in their head, we're changing the price. Attorney General memorandum. You want to make them aware of the smoke certificate because that's their responsibility and their cost. So all costs up front, disclose, disclose, disclose. If it's a short sale, if it's new construction, then you'll pick up those things. We don't do it most of the time with well testing or sewage disposal or solar systems, but occasionally we do have solar systems coming to the city now. So anything that might apply, you add to your room. coronavirus, that apply to everybody, unfortunately. Seller's property disclosure statement is not mandatory that a seller's disclosure for the state of New Jersey is required, but it keeps you and the brokerage from getting sued when things are disclosed. So we can get in the habit of getting a seller's property disclosure signed. That would be best. So if anything happened, there's less liability on you as the agent and me as the broker and KW as the brokerage. So we're going to hit add. All those going to come into our room. So this is how it looks when it goes into the room. Now, just because it coming in, just because we put in our details, doesn't mean that the computer is going to put everything in for us, because the computer don't know how much you're offering, how much you're going to list it for. Computer don't know the description, the room count, or any of that. It only know what you told it to put in. So those are the things that is going to automatically carry over from the details for you. In this case, we didn't put anything in. So I'm going to go back over to the one that is complete, and I'm going to explain the forms from here that are completed. Excuse me. About the time where my throat started getting dry. So before I move on, let me just get it wet again.
What was in that glass, Karen?
Oh, that's just some tea.
Just checking.
It's funny because I be on Zoom and sometimes you drink a can, you're like, I hope nobody thinks I'm drinking no beer. Or you drink something out of a bottle, and you're like, I hope they don't think this is a bottle of beer.
Nice.
So we'll start off with COVID. Again, before last year, almost a year ago, we did not have this. But now that we are in this situation with the coronavirus and the pandemic, we have to protect us as agents because everybody and their mama is too happy. And we don't want to get sued. So for any reason that we show a property and as a result, someone come out positive, as a result of coming to one of our properties. This is basically saying they're not going to sue the seller, they're not going to sue the brokerage, they're not going to sue me, Karen Sims. So every property that I show, even if it's multiple properties in a day, what I generally do is have my client sign a blank one. I'll bring that blank one, make a few copies with me. So as we see in the different properties, I have that disclosure to be able to give to the listing agent. Because sometimes they don't have them on the MLS for you. I always make it a habit on the MLS under my documents to put the lead and a coronavirus, and in this case, it's always disclosure. So if you don't see it there from the listing agent, if they don't get it to you and you need to get to your appointment, just print a blank copy of the coronavirus and take that blank copy with you, so that as you go into your different properties, you'll be able to just sign in the different addresses, but you'll already have their signatures on file, so you're not mingling with the client to get their signature. It's on file. You're just signing the address that you're going to next. Make sense? Next one that we have is the lead paint. And again, that is going to be, the listing agent have to provide you with the lead paint based statement. You don't want your client sign something blank because you don't know if your client signed if they have knowledge of lead paint or if they have no knowledge of lead paint. If they have reports of lead paint or if they have no reports of lead paint. So you want the one that's signed by the seller, signed by the listing agent. Then you will have your buyer sign their portion, and you as the buyer agent have to sign your portion. And I see where I need to refer back to Carlos to get those signature is done. This is a $10,000 fine, y'all. So you really have to be careful with the lead. It's required by the state because the state can come after you. And let's see. Seller's disclosure, since there was one on file, we want to get the buyer to sign the seller's disclosure, as well as the buyer's agent to sign. You as the listing agent also will sign. You want to go through and pretty much see what has a date or something and what's clicked yes, so that you can know what's going on with the property. You as an agent cannot help the seller with the seller disclosure. You can advise them if they don't know, don't guess, because they become liable for anything they state on the seller's disclosure. So if they don't know, tell them don't guess, do the best they can, but not available. And that.
So Karen, so far the 3 documents, I think you went through, the hold harmless, lead paint, and seller's disclosure, those all get attached onto the MLS, right?
Correct.
Okay. Anything
Because
else?
you don't want the selling agent calling you for a piece of paper. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of a phone call, and that's a waste of your breath. The more you can put in for the MLS for the agent, the best. If you have floor plans, you can put floor plans in. If you have additional pictures that couldn't get on the MLS because the MLS only give us, 15 or 16, then you can put that on there. If you have condo docs that may be important, like the last minutes, and you know, it's public. If it's public, you can put it on there. Anything that you feel will be helpful to get the deal closed as smoothly as possible without a phone call to you, for you to stop what you have to do to get to the agent, put it on the documents in the MLS. But those 3 are the main ones. Let's go and see the next one that we need. I always put the tax record in, and if you want to put an outside document in, you just add from your computer, go to your hard drive, pick a document, add it, and it's going to come into your folder. Now, if you add something into your folder and you realize, oh, I don't want that in my folder, you can go click on it and delete it from your folder. Everybody understand how to add that? Okay, let's go to our next document. Sorry, just trying to see where we left off. So disclosure lead. And some of this has a contract in it, so that's why I'm trying to see exactly which ones are
What was the
related.
tax document you just scrolled by? What? Yeah, Seaview tax signed. What's that?
So I send my clients copies of everything. And I know that I sent it because when it goes DocuSign, even though they don't sign it, it goes to them. And when it comes back to me, all the documents signed, I know I did my job and sent it to them for them to receive it, and that they received it. So it's just her tax record of her property. And it's the difference between the green check and the red one. The red one, I uploaded it from my system, just like I hit add and hit documents from my computer. The green one shows that she saw it.
So do you have to send them the tax records?
No, you don't have to. I just make it a point of sending it to them because that's the first thing I start with, whether I'm doing a listing or a sale or a rental. I don't send it to tenants, but I do send it to the landlords. Because sometimes things are on the tax records that they're not even aware of. Somebody may have died and now you still have the tax record. You could say you should really get that adjusted with the city. So, and then it helps them confirm they taxes when you asking how much are they taxes. Then this is just a confirmation that, well, you say your taxes was $3,000, but the tax record is saying it's $5,000. can you please show me your tax bill? Yes, you can dig that far if you think they are giving you inappropriate documents or not correct documents, or maybe no documents. It's for you to do your due diligence and making sure you dig to get the right information. So comparison. If this tax record is off from what they're saying, and then the tax bill can't verify it, then you can call the city tax record. But generally the tax record verifies everything. Sometimes the owners don't know, sometimes they do.
Karen, I have a question. So what documents does the seller have to provide to us?
Seller have to provide when they sign a listing agreement, or just up front?
When you sign the agreement, what else do they have to provide?
Anything that you get from the documents that you're going to give them? Nothing. Unless there's someone that's deceased. So if it's a husband and wife and one of them is deceased, can I have the death certificate for my files? If it's an estate property, you know, because both parents have died or both people of the property have died and now becomes an estate property, you need the administrator's paper or the executive's paper, and it should be signed with a gold seal. You would need that. If there's a power of attorney because maybe someone is sick or incompetent or don't have their right mind, then you need the power of attorney statement in your file that that person has the right to sign for their mom or whoever.
Mhm.
Going back to the estate, not only you need the administrator's paperwork with the seal, but you also need the death certificate.
That's
So-
for signing to show that, you know, whoever you sign with, it's the person who can sell the house, right?
Correct.
And then after you signed, what documents would they provide you?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, if they allow themselves, you provide them all the documents, they provide you nothing. If they deceased and there's an estate, then the administrators of that estate provide you the administrators of the estate, and it should have a gold seal from whatever county that they died in, and the death certificate. If it's a spouse, if it's two spouses and one spouse is dead, then you just need that death certificate from that spouse.
But after you sign up with them, don't they have to provide you some information that, or it's your job to do the digging about that property? I mean,
Tell me
What if-
exactly what it is that you're looking for them to send you, for them to sign. What is it that you're looking for?
I'm not looking. I remember when we had one of the trainings with Gene Rivers, he said about a list of documents that they ask, like, you know, they have to provide, I don't know, tax, whatever. It was a long list. So I'm thinking, do we have to ask for those documents from them?
I've generally never asked for anything, unless their tax records was off. Unless they told me that someone died, then I know I gotta dig and get more details. I need the death certificate for my file. I need the administrative paperwork if it's an estate. So outside of that, unless there's a difference on that tax record, that's why I start off with the tax record. If there's some type of discrepancy when it comes to that tax record, then I will ask for additional information.
But yeah, so for example, like what the attorney mentioned, something about the permits. So if they had a renovation, shouldn't we know? I mean, that something like that happened, like maybe they renovated something, we don't know. They say, yeah, we renovated this or whatever. We don't even know if they had a permit. Should we be aware of something like that? That's
if you go in and you see a total renovation of a
Uh-huh.
property, yes, you can ask. Did you do permits? If they say, yeah, do you have copies of them?
okay. So in fact, it's up to us to kind of figure out what to ask from them.
And that's based on when you see the property. If it's
Okay.
a property that hasn't been renovated, there's nothing to get. If you need
Yeah,
to
it's just an example, but I don't know. Yeah.
verify their taxes, because it seems like it's a discrepancy between what they're saying and what the tax record is saying. Can I see a copy of your tax bill? And then, you
Okay.
know, the tax bills are public knowledge. You can go on a city site and pull the tax bill.
Yeah, I know that.
One thing I don't want any of y'all doing is pulling an Oprah request. Leave that due diligence to the attorney and or the buyer to do their due diligence. If I, Karen Sims, pull an Oprah request on Jen's property, and then based on that Oprah request, everything looks good, but then today is Wednesday, something changes Friday. We close a month from now. I didn't go back and see a new Oprah request to see that something had changed Friday. Who becomes liable for that change?
Me.
Karen Sims. So therefore, as agents, please do not do an Oprah request on anybody property. Have the seller do their own Oprah request. Have the buyer do their own Oprah request. Have an attorney do it on their behalf. But don't you as an agent take that responsibility of pulling an Oprah request for nobody.
Yeah, so for example, now I opened that document that I was mentioning from Jean Rivers. So it says what documents he lists here. It's survey, property deed, title insurance policy, neighborhood covenants and restrictions. Like it's a lot of documentation, homeowners association information, seller's disclosure, I understand that. Current mortgage balance and second mortgage balance, if you have one, termite bond information, floor plans, most recent appraisal, security
A
system
lot of
access code.
states don't use attorneys. One benefit, North
Yeah,
New
this is
Jersey,
Florida.
but South New Jersey don't use attorneys. So the title company and the agent is responsible for way more. Pennsylvania don't use attorneys. So they have to get a lot of details themselves. Florida don't use attorneys.
Oh,
New
that's why.
Jersey,
Okay.
New York, it's so crooked, attorneys are needed. So the attorney will get most of those documents for you.
Okay. Okay.
There are condo conversions that, condo buildings that you may be working with. You can ask the owner if they have it. Most of them want a PDF. When I started, and they still probably under my desk right now, I've had books because that's how they used to come. So when you got a book for a building, you didn't let that book go because you can use it for your next client, and you sit there and you make copies for the current client that you have. So now everything is a PDF. So if you need those, you can definitely ask the owner of that unit for the condo docs, the bylaws, the HOA minutes. They have those in PDF now.
But I'm not
Sometimes
sure
they
if
make
those are
you pay
public. Is that public information?
Generally, it's not public. You gotta get that from the association, and generally, sometimes they make you pay for it if the homeowner don't have it on file.
Okay, but can I am I supposed to ask from the homeowner those documents? I mean, can I, like you mentioned something about attaching the minutes. I don't think I was in the board of the building. I don't think those are public. So you wouldn't be able to attach something like that, right?
If it's not public, you shouldn't. But if there's a distress, say 207 Bowers, one of my listings is a distressed property. There's a 10,000 assessment. There's details of what that 10,000 assessment gonna cover. I'm not typing all those details. I attach the building minutes that have the 10,000 that have the assessment explanation. Yes, I made it public for whoever wants to buy it because I'm telling them that 10,000 is their responsibility.
It's upfront, yeah.
So case by case, you make the discretion of what you need to do.
But do you have to get approval from someone for this, or is just the seller gives you that?
No, the seller give it to
document?
you. You can give it to Generally, the attorney gets those. You can help the situation along by making sure you have it for the attorney.
Okay.
You don't have to give it to the buyer. And generally, I let the attorneys give that because then the buyer may change their mind, especially if that's a document that you wind up having to pay for to get. And now the buyer has it, and maybe you have to pay for it again to get another one. I mean, everything is PDF, but still, before it used to not be PDF, it's physical copy, so you never want to get a physical copy. But if it's a PDF, it's a PDF. And guess what? all those HOA and all those renderings have to be put with the state of New Jersey. So it's public somewhere, because that's part of the bylaws that is created when the condo is converted.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so that's the tax. Let's go on to exclusive right to sell. And remember, we did the CMA. I always drop my CMA into my room. So if I have to go back to fight with the owner, anything about price, I remember I don't have to go back to recreate it. I have it. I show it to them. This is what we went over. This is where you should be. Let's make the change in price now. Exclusive right to sell agreement. Remember, I put it in once. All these details are going to come over about the address, the blocking lot, and all that. So I'm just putting in the listing date, the expiration date, the brokerage firm, the amount of the listing, when they can take possession of it, the broker's compensation, I'm a seller's agent and disclose the agent if the opportunity arises. Because at the time you're taking the listing, you can't say that you're not going to get the buyer. You don't know. You don't know if you're going to get it. You don't know if your agency is going to get it. So we're seller agent and disclose dual agent if the opportunity arises. All that information I put in is coming over. The only thing I'm going to get signed on here is her name and my name. Also, out of that 5% commission, I'm giving 2.5% minus a 300 bonus to the whoever brings the buyer. Now, if I had here that it's 5%, but then I did a variable commission, 4% if Karen Sims should be the buyer. That has to be disclosed on the MLS that I'm taking a reduction in commission. If I did it that way, this is not a variable commission rate, so it's not applied. But I just want to put that in your head now, that if you make a deal with the seller that it's 5%, but if you, Jen, bring the buyer, then you're only going to charge 4%. Then I need you to put that on the MLS. That's a variable commission rate. Property description, again, it's going to bring over the name, the address, and everything like that for me. I'm going to have to put in my office number and my salesperson number. Each person is different. The office is always going to stay the same, which is 16.53. The listing sale person, this is your number, that your access code for the Hudson MLS. Compensation essay is sub-agent. That's always going to be 0. BA is buyer's agent. 2.5% minus 300 has to be the same as transaction broker, which is 2.5% minus 300. Please don't give me 2.5%, but then try to give a transaction broker only 2%. The MLS will fine you, and you will pay that bill. That form, yes. Property type, 2-family, 4-sign, yes. Then you go on to do your descriptions. If there's rental income coming in, you add up your totals. Remember from the tax record, what that said we need, the amount of taxes, the year it was, what else we said, lot size, that will go there. If you know the utilities, you can put it, but generally in a 2-family, especially with separate utilities, you don't know. So it's separate, so you don't put it in. If there was anything excluded or included, that's where you want to put it. Remarks to cooperating broker. Anything that you want the broker, the other person who's showing a property, any instructions for that person, anything about the property, that's where that goes. So in this case, 24 hours to preview the first floor, second floor, and basement is vacant, can be shown anytime. You want them to call the 1-800 number, which is showing time. We all have a showing time account. If you don't know your passwords, or if you have not set it up, if you have not put it on your app, do it today. You can put your app on there. Your showing time should have came in your list of instructions when you came on board. Get yourself set up if you're not set up. email offers to my email address. Any questions, call me. Please complete the COVID-19 hold harmless and email it to me. And then I put garages rented out for $675 income. That's all the information. Anything about pricing, that's where that goes for cooperating broker. Then you click off whatever may apply to that property. And then the the public remarks. 2-family located close to public transportation to JSK Path, Journal Square Path, via bus line and local stores. First floor unit rented 2020, bottom floor rented 2018, renovated, I'm sorry. Full basement, separate utilities, and 3-car parking. 3-car garage parking. Any questions on filling out the the property description form? Just make sure if it's condo, Jen, it says condo, not the 2 to 4 family. If it's a single family, then you want to bring in a single family form. Most important thing so that you don't get fined is making sure TV and BA is signed and SA is always 0. You don't remember anything else, remember that. And remember, in your description, do not put anything with walk. If I'm in a wheelchair, I can't walk, and you just discriminate against me. Now you see on your lead form, they don't have to sign, but you see one is blue that came from the documents, one is green. One as green shows that I sent it to her. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to sign anything, but it shows the computer that I did my job and sent it to her. Now the Attorney General memorandum. This one should be signed, and it was updated too. This is not the updated one because it was probably previous to the one. I just have to double check that. But you can see that I put in the address, 118 Seaview Avenue, Jersey City, and I had her sign as well as myself sign. In the first paragraph, and I think it's not on this one, I have to make sure and update them, but it says that this has to be signed by the landlord or the seller. Parties, license agent, or broker whom may provide a copy of this notice. This one just say copy, but it was updated, I think 2020, and I have to make sure we pull in the updated ones. Let me make a note for myself. John Carlos.
So the updated one is in our, when we load our docs, when we click on, okay.
Mm-hmm. General memorandum. It says actually to make sure that they sign. So you want to make sure that this gets signed by the seller or the landlord. Consumer information statement. Anytime we're talking about real estate, we need this signed. People need to know how we representing them. And this is seller's agent, buyer's agent, disposed through agent, and transaction broker. You're going to be working as a seller agent. Like I said before, we don't know if we're going to get the buyer when we take in the listing, so we just put and as disposed through agent. Seller is landlord, so we use the same document if we're working with the listing for the landlord. And then again, when you're working with the buyer and tenant, same difference. They both sign the same document. We don't have to worry about gravity title anymore. We will be getting affiliations updated, but right now, we don't have to worry about that one. It is your responsibility to fill out the commission statement. Now, if you're working as a disclosed through agent, the same company, one person can fill it out for the whole company. When we get it internally, we'll split it up properly. They're responsible as a seller unless it's listed that the buyer is responsible for all CCOs or COs or smoke certificates, then our sellers are responsible. So you want to make sure that in the beginning they're aware of that so that they can't say, oh, I didn't know. Yeah, you know, I sent it to you. This document has to be notarized by them. A lot of my sellers are out of town, so I do take the responsibility of getting and making sure this is all hooked up. I got my husband on the job, so he can put things up when I need them. But I only take this responsibility on if the seller is out of town, because it does have to be notarized. If you get this completed and you didn't put everything in there and there is a fire and you notarize, you see notary seal to the right. If you notarize that you, Karen Sims, was the one that did this, and the fire department, after they got the fire out and they noticed that that smoke detector wasn't in there, that fire extinguisher wasn't in there, guess who's getting in trouble? Karen Sims, not the owner, because I was the one to put my name as notarized that it was completed.
Do we have a notary in our office?
Yes, Brenda is a notary, right, Brenda?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a notary also.
Bella's a notary.
Yes.
So are you guys ever around, or you're working from home these days, or how do I get something? I need this fire certificate notarized, I guess.
You could just reach out to me and then we could always meet up.
Okay.
Yeah, we can always meet up.
All right.
Yeah, whatever.
Thank you.
I'll be dueling with Brenda.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, so this addendum regarding coronavirus is pretty much for the buyers, not as much for the seller. So we're not going to even pull this one in. This one pretty much get the buyer out of trouble. I don't even know why I had her sign this, because it's pretty much saying, well, seller may postpone the closing too. So yeah, have them both sign it. So buyer or seller can postpone the closing up to 30 days if unforeseen circumstances as a result of COVID happen. This one, the second one, pretty much say buyer can cancel the contract if something should happen. So the seller really just have to put in the 30 days to be able to postpone it. You don't want the seller to click it can cancel, because that pretty much say, well, I can cancel. If the buyer can cancel the loan, then I can cancel this listing contract. So don't put that. Just put the 30 days to postpone. Let's see. Again, remember the seller's property disclosure. We went over that one. Make sure everybody signed. Went over the seller hold harmless. Wire. We will never, as agents, ask anybody, seller or buyer, to wire us any kind of information. Therefore, do not, if you see something that came from Karen Sims, it's not me, Mr. Seller, because I already told you I'm not going to have anything to do with any wires. There's a lot of fraud going on. So if you see something from a wire that come from me, please don't send anything to that email. If somebody call you, hang up, call your attorney, because don't call me. I don't do any wire. I don't do anything with wires. So this is how to protect them from becoming a victim of wire fraud. Now, once we get all the documentation that we need signed, brought into compliance, which we did all those documents there, I'm going to go back over to Mickey Mouse for you. Where's Mickey at? Don't want that one. All right. How do I get the actual document signed? So I'm going to click on a few documents so that I can show you how we get documents signed. And you notice I'm clicking a little circle that pops up in the corner. When I click the circle of the ones that I want to sign, this here bar is going to pop up top right here. In the middle is creating the envelope. I'm going to click on create the envelope. I can address it. 118 Seaview Listing Paperwork. I want to add the recipients, room participants. Now you can do it two different ways. If you pre-tag the rows and I pick owner and I pick who the owner is, and then I pick my part, listing agent, and I pick me. I hit add select. The computer is automatically subject. Email is going to go out by 118. See view listing paperwork. Hey Rachel. Please see the attached documents to list your home. If you have any questions, please reach out to. Does have spell check. And then I'm hitting next. And then because I hit pre-tag rows, it's going to automatically put everybody that's supposed to sign in the right order. So you see it put the owner information and it put me. In this case, I didn't choose the right owner. I chose myself because I don't want to resend her paperwork. And then I would have myself and it would color coordinate who needs to sign what. Now remember on this one, it's not going to give you the signatures. So you're going to put them. Put a signature, you pick up and you drag. Pick up and drag. To put an issue, you pick up and plot. Same thing for the next one. You go pull a seller, you want them to initial, you want them to sign, and you want the date on it. Remember with DocuSign, they don't put the dates. So we have to put it there. And then this one, it didn't pick up. So our job is to go in there and verify and make sure that the computer did what it's supposed to do. And if it didn't, make sure that we do it ourselves. So once I put all the signatures in there and I hit send, it's going to go to my email. Now I can sign it either on my email or I can sign it right here from the DocuSign. So I'm going to sign it right here from DocuSign. It's preparing an envelope for my signature. Still preparing it, still turning. I only got 3 documents. Come on. We are in Mickey Mouse. Come on. Oh, wait a minute. Did I put the right one? Yeah, I put the right one.
Can I have a question since we're waiting on this? So practically you sign the contract paper, or you sign it, you take your computer with you when you have the meeting with the sellers, and then you do the rest of them?
So generally, unless they're older couple, I'm taking physical paperwork. Most of the time, I'm sending through the computer. I'm not even in their home. But if we were in pre-COVID times and we were just one-on-one,
Mhm.
And I was in their thing, I can take my computer so that they can sign everything as we doing it. By the time
Right
I
there.
leave from that table, they have signed paperwork in their computer. I have signed paperwork in my computer. But you got to know your audience. If you're dealing with a lot of older people, they are not technology savvy. I had to send paperwork all the way to Alabama because she just couldn't get DocuSign right. I've had to go to their houses. But a more person that, knows the computer and how to just sign it, they signing it over the line. I'm not entering nobody's house.
And then you sign either paper or computer all these documents in one shot.
Yep. So I hit continue. I hit start. I'm assign, I'm assign, I'm assign, I'm assign. And remember, I'm finished, and then it'll go to the next one, which I think I didn't put. So now it says waiting for others. So I'm gonna go back. Okay, and since that one is at that. I'm gonna go check my email for that one. Oh my goodness, a lot of stuff. So remember that was 118. So you see how I have two emails. Let's see if this is the one. I think it was the listing paperwork. View your documents. That one I believe was already signed. I'm gonna go back and look at the other one. Documents. Continue. Start. Sign. You see how that the other one has already got my signature and everything. Finish. See, you're done. Now it'll come back in my email that it's completed. Refresh it. You see how it come back, it's completed. So if I'm off of command, I'm doing my own business now. My seller signed everything. It's gonna come back. Everything's completed once both parties sign. I go back to the loop. And I go to my envelopes. Now you see my envelope also says completed. So now I want to go back to my opportunity. My handshakes, right? And I want to make sure that I now in compliance, now that I got signed paperwork, I want to make sure that my file is now in compliance. So now I need to go and my documents on this page, I need to start uploading everything that I got signed. So my listing agreement, my property description, my consumer information. You see where it says required, required, required. Those are the ones that we checked off that was required. Now, other things that are conditionally required will have conditionally. Doesn't mean that it is required. It's a conditionally required. So if I had to do highest and best, if I had to withdraw, if there was an office exclusive, if there was a waiver, then I would put those documents in there. If there wasn't none of those, I don't have to do it. Lead-based paint conditionally, because if it's new construction, it's not required. In this case, I put it there because it's not lead-based paint. So then I would just hit resubmit. Even though she approved my file with the conditional, I would have rather her make sure that was approved. But once all your documents is in, you will hit submit and it will get approved by our market center, Colleen. And then you don't have to worry about your listing paperwork ever again. When you get ready to close, this is approved. Then you're just gonna start filling in your under contract. So you're under contract, you're gonna make sure you put the contract in attorney writers, inspections, they pre-approval, proof of funds. So I'll have my niece work on all that tomorrow to make sure that that all gets updated. And when that gets updated, this thing that says submit to MC, I'll submit it. And then lastly, when we do close, I have to update the close part. And then I need the commission check, commission statement, the HUD, and then I need to go back on the MLS, report this as sold, and then I'm going to take that sold MLS, download it into my documents, and then I'm going to add that as the MLS report sold. If I have, I guess I need to start working on a smoke certificate with her so that we can get the smoke certificate done. Jersey City, we don't do COs or CCOs, but other counties do. Bayonne, Irvington, Newark, East Orange. So depending on where you're working, you'll have to get that done. If there's any crucial emails, you can put them in there. If you had to pay a referral, you want that referral agreement in there and that W-9 in there. And then you will hit submit again. And then last time I told y'all, show you how to do the commission. I thought I would have a commission to offer to do, but I have not had a closing. So I'll just go and show you the numbers. Until you create an actual offer, you won't be able to get your commission submitted. So you got to always add a new offer, do the numbers, make sure it balance out, and then when you submit it, then your commission request opens up and you can submit your commission. So when you come out of attorney review, this is when you need to do this step. So if you have deals right now and you're out of attorney review, you do this. If you're working with the landlord and a list and a tenant, you avoid one step. You don't have to create an offer. Only when you're working with the listing for sale and a buyer do you have to create the offer first. Once you create the offer, then the commission button will open up. Any questions?
I have a question, but I hate to take your time. I can text you.
All good.
I know where
It's
it-
a little bit after 2, but you can always call, text, email. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
for-
Karen.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, holla. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.